It is day one today for the New Look coalition after Sussan Ley and David Littleproud announced their front bench yesterday. And joining us live is the opposition leader, Sussan Ley. Sussan, good to see you. So first of all, congratulations. First time you've appeared on this program since getting the role. So congratulations. Presumably it's been an emotional roller coaster and whirlwind for the past few weeks for you.
Well, thank you, Pete. Thanks for your good wishes and for all of the good wishes from your viewers about my mum. It was a tough personal week, my first week, but terrific to see that mum saw me elected as the first female leader of the Liberal Party, and I know she was very proud as she watched that press conference from her, the room she spent the last few days of her life in. And yes, it's emotional, but it brings to me now that sense of determination and resolve that I learned from my mum, who gave me, I think, qualities of persistence and tenacity, but also of listening. Because what I want to bring to this role, Pete, is that we listen. We don't lecture from the top down, we listen from the ground up. And the team, every single one of the 54 members of my party room, is so keen to get back to work for the Australian people.
Is Jane Hume the scapegoat for the poor election result?
There are no scapegoats. Jane is a terrific and talented senator for Victoria and, of course, remains that. The team that I announced yesterday includes new faces because we are bringing a fresh approach. It's a new term in Parliament, it's a new leader, and we are going to do things differently. But most importantly, Pete, every single member of that team has a role to play. In opposition, it's not about, again, the top-down or the ownership of portfolios or what seat you have at what table. It's about everyone working hard, every player on the field, everyone doing what they know they need to do to earn back the respect and trust of the people who didn't support us at the last election. We have to acknowledge that. We didn't meet the Australian people with where they expected us to be, and that's something we've listened to with humility and understanding, and we're going to act on. OK,
Jane's performance and slips during the campaign, though, they were widely noted, but she is a high-profile woman, and given the Liberal Party's issues with that, could there not have been another senior role for her, or Sarah Henderson for that matter?
Look, I don't want to reflect on individuals and individual appointments, except to say everyone remains important, and the women that you've mentioned are talented and will continue to contribute incredibly well. 40% of the new shadow ministry that I announced is women. Of course, Pete, I want to see more women come into our party, and I was able to announce women who are younger in terms of their political career, and I know that they're going to do very well too. But ultimately, this is not about who we choose for what seat at the table. It's about bringing the strongest possible team onto the field to work hard for the Australian people in every corner of this country. And my team represents life experience across the Australian nation, from the bush to the city to the suburbs and everywhere in between. It's so important that we do this work really well to be that strong opposition that Australians would expect of us.
Just one more on the reshuffle, and I do note that Michaelia Cash, a high-profile woman, gets foreign affairs, shadow foreign, but why was Dave Sharma overlooked for that as someone who knows foreign matters better than anyone, I'd argue?
Look, Dave is part of our economic team, and the economic focus, led by me and with others in that team, will be a critical part of what we do going forward. And I know that Australians would expect that of us. We want to see productivity, we want to see businesses thrive, we want to see Australians do well. That backs in our aspirations and who we are as a Liberal Party. And everyone will see it through that economic lens in terms of the work we do, but I know that Australians will expect that of us too.
So a couple of rapid-fire questions here, Sussan. So what's your first priority now that your team is set? To
listen, Pete, to listen. Our policies are up for review, but our values are not. And we must heed the lesson that Australians sent us, the message they sent us on May the 3rd. And it is vital that we go back with humility to the Australian people and we hear what they want us to hear, and we do that respectfully. We need to be a party that respects modern Australia, reflects modern Australia and represents modern Australia.
So obviously as well you don't want to be the Labor Party, but what are you going to do about the future of nuclear and net zero now?
The agreement with the Nationals was that we would, as a first step, announce as one of the policies we have jointly as a coalition to remove the moratorium. There's plenty of work to be done in terms of nuclear energy policy more broadly after that. That's a good starting point. But we'll take the time to get this right. We'll work through the issues. That's what people expect of us.
What about, I mean, would you be looking at tax reform, tax cuts perhaps for small businesses, you know, getting back in front of that as the party of aspiration?
Lower, simpler, fairer taxes will always be part of who we are and how we work hard going forward in terms of policies. Pete, no question about that.
Was it a mistake not to go lower than the Labor Party on lower taxes for the last election?
Look, I'm not going to reflect on the things that we could or couldn't have done, except to say that for those Australians who want to see answers to what happened during the campaign and what we could have done differently, I want to provide that through a dedicated review, which the Liberal Party always has after every election. And those questions will be answered, and they should.
All right, Sussan Ley, thanks for your time as always. We'll chat again soon.